What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video of Island Gaming with Jay. And this would be part 2 of the part 1 I posted earlier today. Now, I did listen to some of you guys. You said that the music was too loud and I talked over the video. So this time, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let it play in its entirety, the second part. So if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you for all those who subscribed in the previous video. So without further ado, the FTC can sue bars. Let's listen on.
Oh, the proposed remedy is we'll maintain the status quo on consoles. So all games that Activision releases for the next umpteen years, and you can say, as long as the PlayStation 5, which is the current console, is in production at scale, 1 million units globally sold per year, we will continue to make Call of Duty available on PlayStation 5. So that'll be maybe 10 years. It won't, they don't have to commit for PlayStation 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we don't even know if those things are coming out. But if they say we'll continue to support status quo, that addresses the bulk of the UK Competition Markets Authority concerns. The second piece is that the UK said you have to make Activision games available on competitive streaming services under the same terms that you allow them to be on Game Pass. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard and a massively bad legal argument, and they lose. The reason they lose, and Microsoft's going to basically say, pound sand, we're not doing that. But the reason they lose is when Disney bought Fox and when Amazon bought MGM, both of which, without objection from the UK Competition and Markets Authority, each of those companies took the content that they acquired and put it exclusively on their streaming service. So Disney doesn't put Fox movies on Netflix anymore. Never will. And Amazon's not putting James Bond on Netflix ever. It's not going to happen. So that's the status quo, completely perverted, because when you buy something, it's for your service. The precedent is that's what everybody does. No one's ever asked Netflix to take its original movies and offer it to other streaming services. So bad precedent, bad loser for the CMA. They're going to lose this issue. But if they do what Disney did and said, we're still going to put Fox movies in movie theaters, and they do, right? And we're still going to allow any service who wants to offer them on a pay-per-view basis, video on demand, the ability to do so under the same terms as everybody else, then that is fair. So I think what Microsoft will say is, if somebody comes up with a cloud streaming service and wants to charge their user $60 to play Call of Duty, we'll sell it to them. Of course they can do that. That's status quo. So again, I think the UK is getting ahead of its skis by saying cloud streaming could be a big thing someday, and we want Microsoft to offer it to everybody else. Sony has a cloud streaming service with 45 million users. That's almost double Microsoft's 25 million users. And Sony doesn't put its own content on their day and date. But suddenly the CMA is saying that Microsoft should offer Activision content to Sony day and date. Not happening. Never happened. Sony has a deal with Netflix for Sony pictures, for Sony movies. Uncharted is on Netflix right now, not on Disney Plus, not on Amazon Prime Video. So where is this double standard that only Microsoft has to provide, free access to everybody for content? No way. Slam dunk loser in court. That's the one sticking point. I think the easy solution for Microsoft is to say, you know what, we'll set up a subsidiary in the UK. We'll hire a fully independent board of directors to run it. Activision Blizzard UK PLC, fully independent directors, and we will drop all of our content that we produce at Microsoft Activision, into that subsidiary, and they can distribute it any way that they see fit to maximize profit. And what's the UK going to say? Which means not on Game Pass, still available PlayStation. The UK can't block that deal. And when they do that, then consumers in the UK are going to scream. How come everybody else gets to play Call of Duty on Game Pass and we don't? So again, the UK position is really poorly reasoned, is a loser in court. A judge will conclude it's a loser. And let me give you the basis for my conviction. I am so certain that I'm right on this, and the FTC is so certain that they're going to lose, and the UK is certain, and the EU, they're scrambling to settle. This is really like looking at, why do district attorneys bring criminal cases and win 98% of their cases? Because they only bring the ones they're sure they're going to win.
I've heard that.
This is the one that I am sure that Microsoft's going to win. I would not be making this point. That's why I corrected your term conviction. I'm sorry, contrarian to confidence. I am 98% certain this deal happens.
All right. So as far as Sony goes regarding this deal, it seems like they have some perceived benefits that they're not trying to allow Microsoft to have. I mean, net. I mean, what's better for Sony is if this deal falls through or it passes.
Oh, far better for Sony if the deal doesn't happen, because Sony is the clear number one in gaming and Microsoft is the clear number three. Nintendo's number two. Sony doesn't want Microsoft to gain on them. And if you put Call of Duty on Game Pass, you're giving a consumer an option not to buy a console. Game Pass works on any screen as long as you're connected to the internet. You can play it on your phone or your PC or your TV if you're connected to the internet. So Sony doesn't want that. They want you to buy a PlayStation. Which is better for a consumer? Call of Duty for $60 and no console purchase, or Call of Duty for $60 and a $500 PlayStation? Come on. I mean, again, it's not a real argument, but Sony, I believe Sony is just enough insinuated into the whole elections process in the UK that they've got members of parliament on their side and they've got regulators on their side. This is not going to rule the day. No way.
So the regulator, from your perspective, that the regulators have actually done Microsoft a favor here, put the issues out in the forefront, and this is probably something that they've been preparing to respond to for quite some time.
Oh, 100%. And these issues, the issues raised today, are really the same as the issues raised by the FTC 5 weeks ago, with the difference that the UK came up with proposed remedies. And one of the proposed remedies is operate in the UK status quo. They actually use the term divest, and they can't truly force a divestiture, but they offered Microsoft the opportunity to come up with an alternative remedy if they don't choose to divest of Call of Duty. And the alternative remedy is just set up a subsidiary and operate status quo with independent directors. So the independent directors will do whatever's best for competition. No way can the CMA tell Microsoft what to do outside of the Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. They have no jurisdiction outside, and that's at most 1/6 of Activision revenue, at most. So it's really a tiny piece, and Activision will keep gaining or keep capturing the revenue they're capturing now. It's not going to change that.
So we know law is based on precedents, right? And so where can you draw any parallels from the past deals that would support what you're saying with the steps that you just laid out?
Disney, Fox, and Amazon MGM are perfect precedent. Amazon MGM was a whopping 9 months ago, May of 22. And no objection from any of these three regulatory agencies. So, and it's actually kind of about the same size. If you look at MGM's presence in film and television, it's a small percentage, it's single-digit percentage of total movies and TV. Activision is single-digit percentage of the gaming business. I mean, it's a big company, but it's tiny relative to the $150 billion games industry. They're doing $8 billion this year. I mean, it's literally probably 3%.
So there you have it, guys. Michael Pachter made some excellent points. Some of these points I didn't hear from no one else. He spoke about how he is certain that this deal would pass. The reason being is because of the precedent that was set with Fox and so forth, and how the 3 regulatory bodies had nothing to say when that deal passed. No objections, no concessions, no anything. So we'll see how things panned out, but thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Later.